Matt Davis, SVP Research at SCM World. I'm on the road, and today I'm at the top of the Brooklyn Bridge overlooking Manhattan, as well as Brooklyn. Today we're going to be talking about the future of retail. I am checking out two Urban Outfitters locations, one in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and the other in the center of Manhattan, to look at how the role of the store is impacting retail operations in the supply chain of the future. We're looking at big data, social media, and how things like better demand management are impacting retail supply chain and the consumer overall. Let's take a look. Here in the famous Herald Square, directly across the street from the iconic Macy's, where directly across the street from them is the new Urban Outfitters at Herald Square. So at over 60,000 square feet, a major deviation from their average 8,800 square feet. The average Urban Outfitters carries about 60,000 SKUs. This store is expected to carry 30% more than that. And their SKU count is increasing because of cool things like adding a coffee shop. They have a nail salon, a hair salon, a full restaurant, and one of the cool things they feature there is a pop-up shop. It's by Tortoise and Blonde, and you can try out different pairs of eyeglasses. There are 4 different price sets. They're all customizable. Try them on in the store, hand them your prescription, and head out with a new pair of sunglasses. Now, this store, the Herald Square location, 3 different stories. Base level is men's, mid-level is home apparel, vinyl, where you have over 1,000 different custom vinyl records you can try out, and then on the top floor is men's apparel. Something else that this location, as well as many other locations, do is pick from shelf and ship direct. Now, in Q2 of last year, Richard Payne, the CEO of Urban Outfitters, shared that they were able to get $9 million of additional revenue by doing pick from shelf. E-commerce represented 8% of US retail volume in 2013 and 15% in the UK. And it's estimated that both regions are going to double that percentage by 2017. In fact, it's estimated that global opportunity could be over $370 billion in e-commerce sales. And this trend, this growth rate, has really impacted supply chain organizations in 3 areas. It's going direct, it's investments around DC, distribution center strategy, and what companies are doing with SKU portfolios. And retailers are by far the most bullish on investments in those 3 spaces, but consumer products manufacturers are not far behind. I've arrived here at Space 98, which is Urban Outfitters' Williamsburg location. This is 37,000 square feet of store space, and what's interesting about this store is, like the 66% of retailers who are growing their SKU portfolios, Urban Outfitters is doing that in an interesting way here by partnering with local suppliers. So locally made, locally sourced, they have 40 plus suppliers who are local artists from the community, and it's a great way of matching demand, which Williamsburg is known as an artist community, so matching that demand for local products with the supply base. Supply chain having a critical role in making that happen. There's 3 areas that come across for retail and consumer products. The first is informing product innovation. You see both sides of this value chain, around 30%. So a third saying that they're using this to come up with better product offerings and doing that more real time. The second is improved demand sensing and shaping. So better understanding demand signals and turning that into a planning process that can actually react and shape back to the consumer. Here retail is more aggressive and far more aggressive. So 70% or higher in retail saying that there is an opportunity to use social as a source of real-time customer feedback. That number nearly half in consumer products organizations. And Urban Outfitters, who we just checked out at their stores, is using data from social, but they're also using social to shape back. And one example is their Instagram campaign. So at both their Herald Square location, as well as their Space 98 location, what they do is run events. For instance, they might have a book signing, perhaps they're promoting some specialty vinyl records, and they might in addition have some food or beverage around that. What they're doing is they're using Instagram to spread the message proactively to try to get to people to show up to those events, as well as during the events then featuring the products that they want to make sure either sell best or are most in line with the event that's occurring. So it's just a great example of a retailer not just thinking of social as listening to customers, but actually shaping back out to the consumer base. So what does it mean when you marry together all of this data that we've just run through? What we see is companies investing in 4 areas. The first is a better ability to analyze and manage cost to serve. So understanding the trade-offs required of going direct to things like single unit shipments, perhaps breaking down pallets, all the different things that can add complexity and variation, which add cost, and deciding is this the right decision to take forward in Omnichannel. The second area is enabling market segmentation. Now markets are being segmented both mature versus emerging markets. We see some very different needs in mature markets around at-home delivery, whereas the constraints in emerging markets might not make that a possibility. But as well within each of these areas, thinking about segmenting by urban v rural. The Urban Outfitters case that we looked at, it was no accident that they put these 2 giant stores right in Manhattan and Brooklyn, where there's a huge urban population. These big storefronts are supporting that type of demand. The third area of investment is in going niche, is understanding that you can't just do a me too or a copy exact strategy. When you have executives like Jeff Bezos from Amazon out there talking about profit margin not being his primary focus, it's not exactly a strategy that's going to work for everybody if you're just trying to copy. So going niche could be examples like Target actually creating City Target in urban environments where they change the product portfolio, they actually change pack quantities and SKU counts, they move things like toiletries and workout clothing to the front of the store so that travelers or the urban consumer would see that. And the fourth area is around partnering with allies, which is thinking about the value chain in a new way and saying that old competitors might be new partners going forward. The probably biggest example where this came out was a partnership between Procter & Gamble and Amazon. Amazon created a program called Vendor Flex, in which it's locating within P&G distribution centers. And what they've done is fenced off a small area. P&G can pass Amazon certain product, and it ships out direct, which has enabled direct delivery of consumables, toiletries, things that otherwise might not make sense from a business model. The advantage for P&G is they have this new access to demand without investing in fulfillment, and the advantage to Amazon is they have access to these low dollar or very large products that they can now ship direct and take ownership of the actual order without investing in additional space. So it's these 4 things coming together which are the clear strategy of companies going forward, and which I hope you can take away from some of the Urban Outfitters examples of them doing extremely well.